All right, welcome to Intuitive Talks. This is the first episode, and here today with me is Jacob Harmon. I'm your host, Caleb Elliott, and let's get right into this. So my first question for you is, what's your background and your life story with this? With your life?
Damn, dude. All right. So, I've lived in Woodland Park essentially my whole life. The only other place I've lived is till I was about 3. I lived in the Springs with my grandparents, right? So, when I was born, I'm not entirely sure if I was born. I've heard it both ways. I was born a meth baby. I was born not addicted to meth. So I don't know what to really go by. But I was born with some birth defects, whatever. But I was separated from my parents at birth, right? And I've lived with my grandparents, like I said. Okay, but that's how it started. Both my parents have been addicted to meth, right? They were institutionalized for about, no, I wouldn't say institutionalized, but they've been in and out of prison, essentially. And I'd say 2 to 3 years to, I think their longest sentence was 8 to 10 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But that was right at the beginning of my
right
life. So that's part of the reason I was with my grandparents.
Yeah.
Is they ultimately made the decision to choose the drug over me, but they gave me to a better environment.
Yeah.
You know? So
At least there's some positive there. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, dude, since I've been with my grandparents, I've grown up in Woodland Park, and it hasn't always been easy, you know? So, my brother and I are 5 years apart, and he hasn't really been much of a, when we were younger, he cared for me and stuff, you know, whatever he needed to do. But as we started getting older and started growing, apart, the age gap really started to show, you know?
Yeah.
And he was more, of a bully than,
helping brother.
Exactly, yeah. And it got worse to the point where it was almost, abusive, you know? So, it took kind of a toll on me, and I didn't really talk to my brother at all. We just had, whatever, I saw you in the house, and, we did our, exactly. And then he went off to college, and he was really good at baseball throughout high school, whatever. Went off to college, and then he ended up tearing his shoulder. Or, I don't know the exact injury, he can tell you more about it.
But he injured himself.
Yeah, he injured himself. Didn't end up really doing anything with that. And is now, living his best life up in Breck. You know? And we were at a point where we were talking, hanging out, and it was all cool. And then it just seems distant now, and that's about it. You know? No hard feelings, but yeah, dude.
You definitely struggled with your relationship with your brother, would you say?
Yeah, a little bit. It's definitely a back and forth, you know? It's never I don't know. I don't feel like it's as a brother should be.
Yeah.
But my whole family's
weird relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly.
Not the ones you see on TV at all.
No. Not like a picture perfect home, no. Yeah. But then there was my grandma, right? She ended up in 2011, I think, was her first diagnosis. She ended up getting diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And she had ovarian cancer. I don't know what stage. I don't really remember all the details.
Yeah.
But that definitely took a toll on us as a family. Growing up, there was financial stability for Keegan, it seemed, you know? But as I started to grow up and I needed, I wanted to go do this, Keegan got one example, you know, and I don't want to use it privileged white kid, you get to even use this as an example or anything like that. But, one example is Keegan got, $6,000 paid for a baseball camp with Buck, right? You remember how...
No, yeah, I
all that shit. And, I ended up having to save up my own money for a $600 Air Force camp. That's how it was, the difference between me and Keegan. It seemed like he just had more help. Yeah. You know? And that was partly because the cancer drained a lot of our money, resources. You know, it took a lot out. Like, I'm not sure what insurance did for that. I have no fucking idea the details. Like,
I'm sure insurance helped a little, but it definitely costs a lot to deal with
exactly.
cancer.
And then she was always in the hospital, and I remember Neil and Paula and like just a bunch of people always wanted to like help us with food and meals and stuff because my grandfather was working trying to provide, and then I mean we were just home alone a lot, so we needed people to cook for us. And then when my grandpa got home, like he wasn't in the mood to cook, you know, so it was just shit like that. Like, as guys are, I guess, you know, it's like, fuck that shit.
No, we don't want to do that.
But then, as my grandma got sicker, they eventually had to take out, like, a bunch of, I wouldn't say, because they're not vital organs, they had to remove a bunch of organs and stuff. And it made it to where she couldn't actually have, like, I don't know if this is too personal or anything, but she couldn't have sex with my grandpa anymore. You know? And I ended up finding this out when I was about 15. And I was fucking devastated. Like, I was so pissed. I remember running to your house, like, that night it happened. And I was up in Connor's room, sitting with Connor. Yeah, I don't even know if you saw me.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I think I sat there talking with Connor about it for a while. Fuck, dude.
So basically, what happened with that?
So yeah, my grandma got diagnosed for the first time. Okay, we had a lot of help, whatever. I don't think that was around the time my brother was off to college. I'm not fucking sure. My timelines are so off. It's awful. But she ended up getting sick, and he decided to find somebody else he could actually have sex with. So I was livid about that situation, and I ended up calling him out on it and being like, "Hey, dude, like I don't want you around here anymore," you know? And he said, "I understand," and I was like, they were like, "Well, we want to wait till you were 18 and everything," and I said, "I don't care. Like, if it's like that, like, it's just going to make things worse in the long run. You know, like, just end it now." So they decided to get divorced, and my grandpa moved in with some girl, and I haven't really talked to him since. He's just been bounced around. I've seen, like, Facebook videos of him doing, like, stupid shit in, like, really nice houses. I don't know if there's friends' houses or whatever, but it just seems, it's like, whatever, dude, like, do you. But, yeah, it was kind of a shitty situation, because he didn't really, like, he left the house, and he left a lot of shit for my grandma, but it's all fucking junk. You know? Like, it was just
stuff that couldn't really be used.
Exactly. It was just a devastating situation. We were like, fuck. And then, like, I don't know. I really.
No, I remember that situation. It was pretty devastating, even just hearing about it. Like, they had been married for how long?
26 years.
26 years. And
no, I remember going to Coach Genesee, too, one time. And turning to him and being like, "Hey, dude, like, I don't... fuck, everything." But it was an open gym, and I went, and there was some little miscommunication back and forth between me and him, and I told him, I was like, "Hey, dude, I want to, like, sit down, I think." I was like, "Hey, can I sit out for a little bit? Like, my grandpa just left the family. I need a minute, you know?" And this was, like, really when I was working on basketball, whatever, I really wanted to...
you were very passionate about it.
And I told him this, and he said, "No, dude, go change, whatever." I went and I changed, and I was sitting there on the sideline, and I kept getting... I don't even remember what I was frustrated about, but somewhere along the line it ended with him making me run. Right? And that is not at all how I pictured the situation. Right? It was because I turned to him more as like, "Hey, dude, I need somebody to talk to. I need a fucking friend right now. I need something, you know?" And for him to just punish me and neglect the fact that anything's even going on.
Yeah.
Kind of fucking got to me.
No,
I was like, shit, because it felt like I had nobody else to really turn to, and my basketball coach, doing something that I loved more than anything at that point in time, you know, seemed like a place to go for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I got blinded. It wasn't like I was turning to friends and shit like that. I was just in a very emotional state, you know.
Yeah. And I just want to throw a story in here. I don't know if you heard about this from Dempsey or not, but Dempsey got upset in practice. He had a fallout with Vaughn and got like pissed at each other.
Mm.
We stopped or not stopped, but we were doing free throws for 45 minutes while he talked to Dempsey alone. Yeah, for like an entire practice.
Dude, he picks favorites.
Yeah, it does.
He always has.
And I just also want to say he is a school counselor, so he may have his own way of teaching,
right.
but it sometimes he's
reflects
not
in
the
his
best.
counseling, and he has no idea how to console anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't even use him as a counselor. I just had him as a basketball coach, and
Yeah.
I like him being a counselor. I was like, hey, dude, like I'm reaching out to you right now. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Didn't give me a chance. I went to him for some personal talks too, because he is a counselor, school counselor, so he knows how to like
Yeah.
help with college and stuff. I went to him for some personal talks. He basically told me, you gotta work harder, you're a piece of shit, blah 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 blah. Like,
Yeah.
not you're a piece of shit,
But
but like you need to work harder, you're not good, you
Yeah.
know, like stuff like that. I'm like, fuck, like
yeah, no, there's definitely favoritism in that.
no optimism.
I don't know. Maybe you just thought giving him the benefit of the doubt that tough love would work better, but
Fair enough. You know, one dude, like Coach Arsenault was cool, but dude, my all-time favorite will be Coach Andreas.
Andreas, yeah, I
Dude,
loved
he
him.
was so fucking cool.
He was.
Dude, always. I say every morning, dude, when if I shower and stuff before work, I'm like, look good, feel good, play good, dude.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I'm putting on my cologne and shit every day,
Yeah.
I'm like, look good,
I
feel good,
forgot
play
about
good.
that.
Dude, all the time I say that shit to myself. I'm like, fuck it. I said it to Drake earlier, dude. I said it to my dude earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, look good, feel good, play good, dude. That's that shit.
Yeah, no, that guy was great. The C
I
Squad
had to
coaches
shout
were
that out.
always amazing.
They really were. They
Yeah.
really were. Coach Brown was fucking legit,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Dunked over Vaughn.
Dude, it was so dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good times.
Yeah, those were. So, speaking on the school system, how did you feel growing up with the school system?
So I have always been viewed as, and I don't know, I don't want to put words in people's mouths, because there have been people who've given me the benefit of the doubt. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They see through all the bullshit. But
Yeah.
for the mass majority of people, they see me as not the brightest, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, as like, not necessarily like a threat, but you know, like, I was one of those kids that was always in fucking detention. Like
Yeah.
God, I'm looking for a word for like bad behavior. I feel stupid right now. Misbehaved kid.
Misbehaved, yeah, I guess that works.
That's what misbehaved kid, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, with that, I spent a lot of the time in elementary school, in the counseling office, or in elective classes, like the art room, hanging out with the OG Miss Lehman, dude. I don't know, you never knew her because you moved here later.
Yeah.
But Miss
Were
Lehman,
you went to
Gateway.
Gateway, yeah. See, I didn't go to Gateway, so
No.
I wouldn't have known.
fair enough, dude. But Miss Lehman was legit. She was the art teacher at Gateway. I think she still is. But yeah, dude, I would hang out in there. I did like a lot of stuff. I eventually went on in high school to be a TA for her. She's super nice lady.
Yeah.
I only did it for a semester before
Yeah.
all that shit happened.
Incident, yes.
But no, elementary school, yeah. I was in detention a lot, the counseling office a lot, principal's office all the
Yeah.
fucking time. You know, it was okay. It
Well,
wasn't
alright.
awful. Like, I would get my shit done, you know, because it
Yeah.
was literally at my own pace. Like, they'd hand me the work, it was done, you know. And then I'd
Yeah.
sit there and I'd fuck around and draw on the desks or some
Yeah.
stupid shit. But I don't know. I had a lot of friends in elementary school too. I never really felt much like an outcast.
Yeah.
You know. And then fourth and fifth grade, I had a best friend. Okay, his name was Elijah. He was so cool, dude. I don't know what he's really up to today. He moved to Arizona, lives with his grandparents, because actually his mom ended up dying. I'll tell you the story about that. But yeah, we used to bike around the town all the time together, dude, and like just go do all kinds of different shit, right? And he ended up moving out to Arizona because his mom was an alcoholic, because his stepdad, like his sister, he had like a 3-year-old baby sister, was living with the stepdad, right? And the stepdad was like, no, I'm not going to give you like your child if you're an alcoholic like this, blah, 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 blah. And Elijah was back and forth between, so he had to deal with a lot of the shit his mom put up with. And every time we were at his mom's house, it was like some shit, like she's yelling at him, just stupid. And so like she was ultimately a nice lady. Like if you met her when she was sober, when she was just good, like she was a nice lady.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say I was really there for a lot of the problems, but from what I heard, it got really bad, and that's why he moved out.
Yeah.
And then she ended up, because he moved out, getting super drunk one night. And I had this other friend in elementary school, Tommy Watt, right?
Yeah.
He was like this super computer genius to me. Like, we did all kinds of scientific experiments in my backyard and crazy shit.
Yeah.
Right? And she ended up drinking so much one night and walking up to Tommy's house, because we were all three pretty close friends.
Yeah.
So she ended up walking up to Tommy's house, and she was so drunk she passed out in the road on the walk up. And it ended up snowing on her that night, and she froze to death, basically.
Yeah. And
they found her in the morning, dead, whatever. And Elijah had to come back for a funeral, and that was the last time I saw him. And, but we used to bike around, etc., and we used to actually build all kinds of electronic shit. That was super cool. That's another thing I wanted to get into. So, we built all kinds of electronic shit, and he built this little robotic chicken leg one year that I've always kind of taken credit for, I'm not gonna lie. It's bullshit, because we went into the art room, you know, and I gave him this idea, like I found all these parts, and he took home this chicken, right, with this remote control set that I had, and just put the legs of it on this remote control set. It was super dope. So it was like 50-50, but I was jealous. I was like, fuck, dude, I made this shit, you know? And our art teacher saw this and ended up building a robotics program for us one night, right? So we go in, and it was an art fair at the time, right? So we go into this art fair, and there's a bunch of people around, and there's just stations of like tubs of shit, right? Like tubs of shit you can just dig through and take apart. And there was a station where there was a bunch of Tickle Me Elmos, right, that you could just rip apart. So I ripped one of those apart and built something out of it, right? And we just went around building all kinds of shit. And eventually at the end of the night, they were like, fuck, dude, like we got a big turnover for this. We're going to turn this into the robotics program, right? So then they tried pushing for or a robotics night. They were turning it into a robotics night. So they pushed for a robotics night, right? Then they got that to where they had clubs coming in for showing off connector kits. They had Lego Imaginations or whatever fucking come in, just all kinds of different shit. And we got to go around, all the kids and parents who came in and whatever got to go around playing with this shit. They thought it was super cool. So then they worked on the robotics program, right? And they got that implemented into the high school first, I believe, and then it worked its way down.
Yeah. I remember going into robotics, I think 8th grade year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it when I got into middle school too, and I was like, holy shit, this is a fucking thing. We made this movement happen, you know? It was fucking cool. It was really cool. And I don't think anybody says anything about it.
No, because I never even knew that. No, that's cool as shit. But
then, yeah, we'll move on to middle school. So then middle school, 6th grade actually, 6th grade was okay. Like, I mean, I can't say there were really any highlights. My highlight probably was dating this girl, right? So, in 6th grade, my first kiss and everything was actually Elena, right? So, now we're dating today. It just fucking loops back around.
yeah, it does.
But, yeah, then 7th grade comes on, and I don't know, dude. I remember that year I had a bet with Neil Levy, right? And he bet me $300 that I could not stay out of trouble. Because,
oh, yeah,
as I told you, I was always in fucking trouble. So 6th grade, it was basically the same shit. Like, I failed to mention that.
Wait. I think I know that. Didn't you just fuck up one time, like at the end of...
Yep.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah, I'll tell the story.
Yep.
I love this story.
But, no, every year up till, like, 7th grade, I was fucking up, right? And I was, like, 6th grade was the same shit. I was in detention all the time.
Yeah.
And I failed to fucking mention that. But, then, yeah, get to 7th grade, Neil bets me, hey, dude, you can't stay out of trouble. I'll bet you $300. You get to the end of the year, you get $300. I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of fucking money. And then, my art teacher, Miss Lehman, also bet me $50. She's like, I bet you $50. I made it to, I think it was 3 or 4 days before the end of the school.
Yeah, I think it was 3 or less.
Yes.
It might have been even...
It was literally like so we were close. right about to be out. Okay? And Mr. Shoudell was doing something fucking creepy sexual to some fucking little girl. Like, smacked her on the ass or something, and she got all defensive. And I stood up. Oh, God, I don't remember. Dean was in that class. There was a couple kids in that class, but I stood up and I said something to him, and I was like, you can't fucking do that, Mr. Shoudell. Whatever, right? He ended up writing me up for it, and I didn't get that $300.
Yeah, no. I remember that. That was so funny because Shoudell was just a complete asshole except to girls.
Dude, he was...
It was so biased.
The whole school system up here, because I'm sure all those people still fucking work.
No, yeah, they do.
Definitely still work. Mr. Davis, he's still in. That was my counselor in elementary school. Fucking legit.
Yeah.
He was the business. I was in trouble all the time, so I'd go in there. He'd let me write. He started my journaling. So that's initially where I got into writing.
Yeah.
Right? Poetry, all kinds of shit. I started writing haikus, different shit. He ended up, like he'd take me out. He also kind of got me into basketball because I was always like, dude, I fucking love basketball. So he'd take me to the gym when I was in trouble. Yeah. And he'd just shoot hoops with me. He's like, dude, if this helps you calm down. I was like, yeah, this helps me fucking calm down, dude. Right? And then, so he was a big influence on me too, I would say. Miss Lehman helped with the creative side. So did fucking Mr. Davis, dude. And those are my two biggest inspirations from elementary school. I think that's what I should do too. Yeah. And then middle school, I was at 7th grade, right? And so, what did I mention there?
Yeah, the bad teachers.
Yep. That was about it for 7th grade. Basketball, 7th grade, actually. So then I played basketball 7th grade, okay? Ended up, my back was hurting all the fucking time, okay? And I was like, I'm saying, okay, a lot, I need fucking...
That's not good.
My back was hurting a lot. And I ended up going to the doctor to get it checked out. My grandma ended up taking me. So we found out that I had stress fractures in my lower back. I wouldn't be able to play any sports. Fuck, dude. The timeline's not right on that because I played basketball 7th grade because we played under eggs.
I'm trying to think because I remember this.
We played under eggs, dude. I played under Eggspieler in 7th grade because Herman
I think it was the end of 7th grade. It was like summer baseball.
No, because I played football with you guys.
That was 8th grade.
Yeah, remember I played
Yeah.
football and I didn't know my stress fractures were there, and then I got diagnosed.
So
and I
it was
couldn't
8th
play
grade.
basketball because
Yeah.
football was before basketball.
Yeah. So it was 8th grade.
Yes.
Right.
So it was a little later in the 8th grade. So I guess that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So a little later in the 8th grade, I played basketball 7th year, fucking loved it. Played 6th grade. Dude, why did we not talk about fucking Parks and Rec, my guy?
Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec
Right.
basketball, my guy. How did we miss out on that?
Oh,
Under your
shit,
dad and everything, dude.
Because I've had better seasons.
That
With
wasn't
Parks
a
and
good
Rec,
season
but-
at all, but
No.
that was fun as shit.
No, we actually didn't do bad. I think we got second in that, didn't we?
Yeah, because we lost to Josh's team, didn't we?
Oh yeah, shit, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Shit.
So close.
That was so much fun, dude.
Yeah, that
God
was.
damn it.
But the baseball summer was way more fun. That's where we met. I even remember the first day we met.
Was it on the Rockies? And it was up at Meadowwood on the
Yeah.
green field
Yeah,
when you walked across. I
yeah,
was like, who's that guy?
yeah. I had no.
I remember because you were
no
so
idea.
little, you had your little black
Yeah.
cap on and your shirt was so long. I fucking remember.
Yeah, that was the first time I think I was playing any sports here at all, and I thought I was playing on Lou's team, but I ended up moving because I was too old. I ended up moving to your guys' team with you and Michael.
Yo.
And was there anyone else there?
I'm trying to remember going into the dugout.
I
I think it was just Mike.
yeah, just Mike.
Fuck.
Also.
Yeah, I think it was just Mike.
But yeah, and then so we played like a scrimmage against Lou's team, and of course we won because we were an older team.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after, you invited me back to your house to go try out your pool because you thought you were hot shit with the pool.
I know.
No, the pool was awesome, but you baited me in with that.
Until things got bad with the family, like we had a nice home. You know?
Yeah, no.
I
it
cannot
was
deny that.
definitely nice.
Like it was a nice home.
Yeah.
Like we definitely had a family environment.
Yeah.
But once things broke off and Grandma kept getting sick, it was just.
Yeah, downhill.
I know it was. Yeah, it was rough times.
Yeah.
But sorry.
Yeah. That summer though, we like literally every weekend we were hanging out together. We actually got to the point where my mom and your grandma were like, you two need to take a break because we were just there all the time together, and then we were getting heated at each other.
Because I thought I fixed it and then went into football and it just continued hurting and then
Yeah.
it wasn't healed all the way. So my back has not been right. But freshman year, I want to say that's really when I started rapping. You know?
Yeah.
What really made me want to rap?
Well,
'Cause
I remember I think it was somewhere up in Denver for a baseball tournament, and it was the seniors with was it Justin Bates or his brother?
no, it was Tyler.
Tyler Bates, yeah.
For sure. Tyler liked to rap all the time.
Yeah, and you guys did a rap battle in the back of the bus.
Yeah, no, I remember when we did that, but that was a little after
Yeah.
I started rapping, when I actually could rap a little bit,
Yeah.
you know? But, no, what initially sent it, because I've always liked to write, I've always had a knack for poetry, and just getting out really what's ever on my mind, you know? Fuck. I've taken a lot of inspiration from rap my whole life.
Well, who would you say is your biggest inspiration, like artist-wise?
All time J. Cole.
J. Cole?
By far.
Yeah.
That man is a goddamn legend. Jordan of the rap game.
Yeah.
He's one of the undebatable greats.
Yeah.
Like, he could be LeBron James, Michael Jordan,
Well, do you remember Tanner Fosdick's Instagram round of, I think it was like 64 different rappers, and the last one standing was J. Cole, so I think that's a pretty unanimous decision all around.
We might need to cut some of that because I really sounded like a dick riding little girl right there. Like, but I like J. Cole.
Nice. It's all good.
No, dude, that man, he's a great man. As much as I know and as much as I've seen about him, he went to college, right? He's got an education. He's done great for himself. Started a career, right? And he started his career before he went to college, so he wanted the education. Like, that just proves, like, he was already pretty well known, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, dude, I want to go to school. I need to know more. I just crave for knowledge. And that's kind of like, I feel that, you know? I want to do things that, like, not entertain my mind, but, like, exercise it, you know? Allow me to have to work a little bit harder. You know? I get I smoke a lot of weed, and I might be slower or whatever, but, like, I still enjoy doing things that, like, going to Wendy's every day doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I like deep talks like this, dude. Like, we can talk about whatever, you know? It makes me think, like, where the fuck do I want to go with this? And, so I've gotten that thirst for knowledge and that ambition to just know things from him, you know? And then, the way he's handled his career, like, he's seen the fault in himself so well, and he's expressed that through his lyrics.
Yeah.
Really well. You know, like, he's like, hey, dude, I used to be into the fancy watches, nice chains, like, I was falling into it, bad bitches, all this shit. He also talks about, in some senses, like, falling into a committed relationship too soon, you know, and just a lot of shit that scares him, like, actually intimidates him, and he's not afraid to express himself in that sense. So, I don't know, dude, like, he's really introspective. Why did that? Yeah, introspective.
That's right.
And I don't know, I've taken from that too, like, I got to take a step back, see my situation for what the fuck it is, you know, and think on it.
Yeah.
Take some time. So, I think that's really cool. He's bettered himself every step of the way. He's done nothing to be like, hey, dude, like, I'm falling back now, you know? Like, a lot of artists, you'll see, get successful and they're clean, like, a lot of actors and shit, you know, they're clean, even artists, and then they fall into success and they're now drug addicts.
Yeah. And just
don't stay, just throw it away. Exactly. So, I really enjoy him for the, like, so many reasons, dude.
Yeah.
He's definitely an inspiration.
No, yeah. I would definitely agree. Especially listen, I think it was his most recent album, For Your Eyes Only, right?
No, because he did For Your Eyes Only, then he did KOD.
KOD.
But his most recent album is ROTD3.
ROTD3.
Which he did in, I'm not, like, 100% sure because I'm not him.
Yeah.
But, so, from what I know, he did because he had 2014 Forest Hills Drive and For Your Eyes Only. I don't know. For Your Eyes Only might be platinum now, but I don't think at the time it was very big. And then,
well, I remember when didn't it come out, like, last year almost?
No.
I might have just heard it late as fuck.
Yeah, no. It came out, I want to say, like, maybe 2016, 2017?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. And then KOD was, like, 2018, and ROTD3 was last year. But he had 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which went platinum, no features. Then For Your Eyes Only, which I'm not certain, but I think it's platinum with no features. And then he did Kids on Drugs, which platinum, no features. Yes. Everything else was produced by him except for KOD, I'm pretty sure. and because T Minus did a lot of those songs. I don't know if he did all of them, but he did a lot of them. And then ROTD3 was to prove, like, hey, dude, I'm here now. I know all these people. You want features. He's giving the people basically what they want. You know, they're like, oh, dude, like, we want features, blah, 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 blah. Because so many people complain, like, he couldn't make a good song with features or some shit. Like, he doesn't. I don't know. People were just saying dumb shit. J. Cole's trash because he doesn't have features, like, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, just haters hating.
Exactly. Like, there was a big wave where people were like, J. Cole's trash, you know, like, just for no fucking reason. You're like, why? Why is Cole trash? I would argue that till the day I die. Why is Cole trash? Like, have you listened to him? Give me a reason.
Yeah.
He's the realest motherfucker, dude. And, like, one thing I don't, like, I think he'd sit down and he'd definitely talk to me and he wouldn't judge me based off of my skin, you know? But dude,
not.
I've heard how he feels. Like, in his songs, dude, you can feel his fucking hatred for some things that white culture have done. And, like, I get it. Like, black people have felt repressed and stuff, but, dude, like, I don't know how that would go. Him looking at me, like, just because of the pigment of my skin. I get intimidated a lot in the rap culture, though, because of that. I'm like, can I be a rapper? Like, there are a lot of white rappers, but how well connected are they with all these other rappers? Like, they're really not. They do a bunch of individual shit with each other, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't...
Well, I think there's a misconception with that kind of stuff. Like, just because they say that lyrically, they're usually good people at heart, and no matter who you are, you come up to them. Because you gotta think, he's going to have white fans too. He's not going to just...
No, he really does. And, like, he sat there, and I've watched interviews of him talking to Lil Pump, like, just an interview and stuff like that. But, you know, like, I don't think the man holds judgment or, like, any fucking, like, I don't know. But, shit, dude, like, even you think, like, I don't know. It sucks that I feel some sort of pressure. You know?
Do not care about that. If you can do that, that would make this show 10 times better, in my opinion.
Alright, dude. Yeah, like, if you want to debate it, we can. But I talked to her about how, like, all this is going on in the world and how I feel in the direction I want to go in my life.
Yeah.
I don't have much opportunity. And it's been that way in a lot of paths I've wanted to take in my life. And not because of my situation necessarily, but because of the crap, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the vibe. And I fucking love it, dude. Like, I'm into it, you know? I accept the culture and everything, but I feel like there's just a, like, underlying hatred for, like, my kind of culture, you know? And it's just anywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know, because black people say they feel super repressed. But if I wanted to be a fucking NBA player, if I wanted to be a rapper, tell me how much more opportunity I have being a white person.
I think you have the same opportunity no matter what.
Do you?
Yes. I mean, there are more, I would say, more black people.
So you're telling me if I go down to
rap.
Compton, and I'm like, hey, I want to be a rapper. If I go down to Atlanta, hey, I want to be a rapper. If I go down to Chicago, hey, I want to be a rapper.
Not in that aspect, no.
Like California, hey, I want to be a rapper.
Well, if you're talking about, like, audience-wise, yes, I definitely think you're...
Like, everybody
but...
finds their audience, exactly. But, like, yeah, in a sense, like, I want to hit everybody. I want to speak to everybody, not be judged just because, oh, that's another white kid rapping. No, I want my message to be heard, you know? Same way a black person wants their message to be heard.
Yeah.
You're a person, dude. I don't give a fuck about the color of your skin. I don't. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're Mexican. What's your skin color? I don't fucking care. I'm not judging you for anything, you know? Like, I don't want you to feel repressed in my environment. So why should I in yours? You know? Like, I've felt that way in a lot of situations, too.
Yeah.
Like, I can't say It's in my situation, it's not a back and forth. And like, I don't want to be that fucking asshole who's like, hey dude, like, oh, there's not black violence and there's not racism and there's not all this shit, because there really is.
Yeah.
Like, there is. But not to say I haven't felt all that same shit in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't felt judgment upon me for just walking down the fucking street.
Yeah.
Like, in this small ass town, that's all it's been my whole fucking life. People looking at me with judgment. You know? Not willing to listen to me just because they fucking heard something.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, you know? I get what it fucking feels like. And I don't want to feel like that where I'm headed in my life. I just want to be able to do my own fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I get where you're coming from, you know? But, like, I feel like if I were to say that, it hit people the wrong way.
No, I think that your story is just as good as anyone else's. Like, if people want to focus on race, then they're the racist ones. If they won't allow you to say that just because you're white, then that's just showing their true colors.
Fair enough, dude, because, like, either way it goes, like, because I know Mark, dude. He's a black man, one of the few up here in our white town,
Yeah.
right? And, like, I hate that it has to be separated like that, too, but that's just how it is right now,
Yeah.
you know? But he's talking, and he's like, up here, even though everybody up here is white, everybody I see all day, white, like, I don't meet another black man majority of my days, you know, it's rare. He's a pastor. He studied up here for 5 years. He said, if all this rioting and shit's gonna go on, if people are gonna fight over this shit and, like, this is gonna happen, I might as well just go back to my own country. He came from Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
He said he hasn't felt, since he's been here, any less opportunity or any less chance than anybody else.
Yeah.
So I think it's in specific cases. I don't think it's a case of racism.
Yeah.
Like, it is sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you definitely find racist motherfuckers. But a lot of the time, people feel the same repression you do. You know? It doesn't give you an excuse to go out and loot and riot and do this crazy shit and tear the fucking world apart.
Yeah.
You know? Let's come to a solution. Let's sit down. We're like minds. We're human beings. Let's use our fucking brains. Let's sit down and let's talk about it, dude. Let's get to a fucking solution.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I feel like there's so many more answers.
Yeah. No, that's I think a huge problem with this whole movement is they just go out there and preach justice, justice, justice. They rarely give a list of demands of what they want. They just want to end racism.
Well, and the thing,
You can't just
dude,
go out and end
thing,
racism.
The thing that gets me, too, is black culture has a huge influence on white people. Huge,
Yes.
okay? White kids
100%.
listen to hip-hop every fucking day. White kids dread their fucking hair, braid it, cornrows, however they do it. We take from black culture all the fucking time,
Yeah.
okay? But, like, with that, the black culture demands get said, dude, and it pisses me off because I see all these little fucking, it's not even the black, like, yes, in, like, a lot of black-dominated cities, like, rioting and looting is happening,
Yeah.
but here in Colorado, where kids just take influence from that shit, it's fucking white kids running out there and destroying property and
Yeah.
taking down Trump signs and doing all this shit, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
No, yeah, it happens
It's not
in
even
the
that
Springs.
culture representing themselves in that way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, fuck, and they get shit on for it when they're just
Yeah.
trying to express themselves. And that's not always the case. Like, yes, there are probably black people going out. So again,
Yeah.
it's not always a specific case.
No,
But-
there's been tons of videos where there's black people who catch white people doing shit that they're like, we're not doing this shit. You guys are making
Right.
us look bad.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, fuck, dude.
It's really bad because
It's just a bad situation. Like, the
There's-
world needs to come to
just
a
together.
resolution,
Yeah.
dude. Right.
Like, there's so divisiveness in this country right now. Like, we are actually, nobody realizes it just because, but we are on the brink of civil war.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, there's one part of this country that nobody really knows about that isn't going to let it turn into civil war. But if there's the backing of that part of this country, is turning into civil war. like 100%. Like it is really close with how much division there is, especially in cities. And no thanks to the media. The media is the worst in this country.
The worst. The absolute worst.
Yeah. Like, I don't listen to any
Their
news
influence
whatsoever.
is too great.
Yeah.
It's literally too great.
Because you have people that just go on TV, watch Fox News all day, and then you have people that just go on TV and watch MSNBC all day.
Right, and it separates it. It
And
divides.
it separates
There's no equal
the two
opinion.
parties.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a complete divide down the middle. Even though most people are like-minded and want the same result, they just have different ways of getting to that result.
Right, right. And you can always come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Always, dude. Like, my grandma has told me my whole life, there is no problem that will ever be resolved in violence.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. It can only be temporarily resolved.
Think about
but
it,
there's
yeah.
still
No,
There's
think
still a
about
little
it. There's
left
still
over.
consequence. Think about it.
Yeah.
You kill somebody, you're still dealing with the consequence. Even if it was in self-defense. Even if it's the right of way, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe there's trauma that comes with it. Maybe there's some shit. Maybe you can deal with it. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
But there's some shit that comes with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like something. You don't, like, it can't be resolved that way. It just
Yeah.
can't. There's always consequence.
Yeah, that's the thing. With
What is Newton's law, dude? For every
reaction?
for every action, there's an
a
opposite and equal reaction.
Yeah. I shortened it, but yeah.
For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a great quote.
Bitch, can I hit that? I don't, honestly, Camden, I think, is really what got me into rapping, because one day I was sitting there and I was like, ooh, I think I want to rap, right? And Camden's like, dude, go for it. So I started making beats on on an iPad Camden gave me, right?
Yeah.
Which is now my iPad.
Yeah.
But Camden fucking gave me this iPad, and I started going to school making beats all the time, and I recorded my first song on it called Dumb Bitches, dude.
Yeah.
That was funny as fuck.
That was.
And yeah, and then it kind of took off from there. Like, I started talking to Isaiah about it, right? Talking to other kids. It started getting through the school a little bit. I got to play Dumb Bitches at Anthea's house. I don't remember whose party it was, but it was a pretty relatively decent party. And everybody there was like, Dumb Bitches.
Yeah.
Dumb bitch singing it and shit. And then, yeah, I met Isaiah. We ended up making a song called Money. And that did pretty well. It's a pretty good song. It's pretty catchy,
no,
honestly.
I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then there's never been any hard feelings with that kid. That kid's actually a super dope kid. He's like,
I'm on the opposite side, but you
yeah.
can have your relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I was ever super tight with him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but no, he's not a bad kid, dude.
I mean, he's not a bad kid, but just I think he's a little bit ignorant on how to be more respectful and
Yes.
how to like actually treat people and just how to go about life. Like
No, fair enough.
he's an average person that you see that like goes up in the rap game and is just talking about money.
And he's the same
bitches,
shit. Yeah, exactly. He's the same shit. Like, he's
Yeah.
basic, dude. He is very basic.
Yeah.
And he definitely could use some character. Like, he has some character flaws.
Yeah. No, I mean he's a hard worker. He does all that. He's, I'm sure, a good kid at heart, but just that stuff is like a issue with a lot of people.
I get you. But you know, we made a couple songs. We were working on shit together. We made Captains. Not our best.
Yeah.
Can't say that was our best at all. And then after Captains, we kind of decided, yeah, we're maybe not gonna make music together. Now I think he moved around that time too, because
Yeah.
that was. Yeah, and
He
then
didn't want to be in the school system.
no, and then Josh moved here, and I was taking poetry, and he showed up in my fucking poetry class one day. I'm like, who's this kid? We start kicking it, talking, whatever. I'm like, this kid's fucking dope. Right?
Yeah.
We're chilling. Start bringing him over. He ended up staying here a couple times. Helped him out because his situation when he first moved here wasn't so great.
Yeah.
You know, him and his mom were actually, I would say homeless. Like, I'm not going to go into detail about
Yeah.
it, but, like, they just were not in a great place. And he has a little brother and everything. So I was like, dude, like, I felt a need, you know? I
Yeah,
was like, I'm
step
gonna
up
help him
and
out
be a
little
good
bit.
friend.
Yeah, exactly. So he stayed here. It's kind of been the case with a lot of my friends, you know, that I haven't ended up having great relationships with.
Yeah.
But, you know, like Brandon and shit like that, people you'll learn some lessons from. But,
Yeah.
you know, dude, like, at the end of the day, it's never any hard feelings. And he, because you live and you learn. But we ended up making some music together called Jake and Josh, okay? And we put our faces on a Drake and Josh album cover, okay? That didn't go so well, okay? Then we ended up, but I can't say I made another song with him after that, and I always hesitated to make another song, and I'm guilty of that for sure. I was always like, maybe not. Like we'd sit there, we'd freestyle, we'd hang out, but like for the most part, I was like, like hesitant, you know, always get excited about it and put on this fake ass front, and then never actually fucking do it. I was a dickhead.
Yeah.
But then I released, my first actual single, like my good single.
Yeah.
Wasn't my beat, it was some beat instrumental I found online. It was called Bounce or whatever. And it was YouTube. And it was filth, dude.
Filth.
That shit took off. That shit was quick.
Yeah.
Like people were like, ooh, Jake can fucking rap. You know?
Yeah.
And that was just me on some stupid shit. I was just saying unnecessary, vulgar stuff, you know? And people really enjoyed that. And then I made Trust my personal best
personal favorite.
today. Yes, that's about my grandmother and some of the struggles we faced in life. And then what did I do after Trust?
Was it Valentine's?
Yeah, I did My Late Valentine.
Yeah.
And that was about my expulsion.
Yeah.
And those are my top three, like what I strive to aim for nowadays, you know? Because I haven't really made much music since then. I dropped my Back At It EP, but I haven't been too pleased with the results of that.
Well, that's because those two came from the heart.
Yeah.
And so it definitely shows when you make shit from the heart.
No, it really does. And I definitely feel like I can strive to, I don't know, express myself more. But, yeah, dude, I've got some new music coming out that I feel is where it's at, you know? It definitely revamps old me. People are going to be like, dude, this is good shit. Like, I fucking like this. I can vibe to this. So, definitely excited about that. But, yeah, my expulsion, dude. I guess we can go back to school.
Yeah.
So, music's exciting. Got some new releases coming up. But if I go back to school, I didn't really finish talking about high school. So, started rapping. I do it on the baseball buses when we were coming back with Isaiah, because Isaiah got into baseball. And then Tyler wanted to rap battle me. And I remember Tyler rap battling Bobby, and I was like, why the fuck did you rap battle Bobby? Why didn't you rap battle me? I would have roasted your ass. Cause
that was at a school assembly.
Yeah,
though,
that was at an assembly. And I was actually getting good at rapping. And, like, people knew that I would rap, and he didn't, like, I didn't rap battle. I was like, what the hell, bro? Put me on. Put me on.
It actually wasn't a bad rap battle. I mean, from
Tyler's
was good.
Yeah, Bobby was quiet, dude.
Not
He
so
just
much.
choked, dude. At the end, like, he had, like, one bar. And then he was like...
Yeah.
I was like, Bobby! He came back, sat by me. I was like, Bobby! Bobby!
Yeah. Tough times right there.
Yeah, dude. Ended up getting expelled with Josh, actually. So... we were making music, we were hanging out, we were doing all this shit, made that one song, flopped, and I was like, yeah, whatever, so we were hanging out. And right after the Parkland shooting, I decided, and he
Was
decided.
it you, or was it?
it was more of a mutual decision because I definitely sent the message. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't stop it. I wasn't like no. But he we're sitting there, and I took a picture of him with my BB gun and my torch, right? And we gotta go back.
We gotta go back.
So there was this girl, Hannah Bilby, in school.
Oh yes.
Okay?
Yeah, she do gotta go back.
She was in theater, all right.
You know how theater kids are.
She said something on Twitter. She's deleted the tweet by now, but she said something about how I need to make musicals or something like that. I don't really remember the exact tweet, but it was something about how I shouldn't be rapping.
Yeah,
right?
Something like that. I remember it.
I didn't even say anything on this. I didn't even say a word.
Even though I wanted you to.
I just retweeted it. You were there, right?
Yeah, no, because you brought it up to me. We were, I think, over PS4 chat or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, just get into Twitter beef with this bitch right now.
But, yeah, I didn't end up saying anything. I just retweeted it, right? And everybody else put her on blast, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't even you. It was everybody else.
Everybody, dude. Like,
it was something about show tunes.
Yes. Yeah, she said I should start making show tunes or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. But everybody roasted her on this. And she ended up getting, like, really hurt about this. Guess she started a Woodland Park High School's confessions page, and all these kids would send in shit just about things they did around the school, right? I didn't know she was behind this or anything.
Yeah, no one did at the time.
But we had a little bit of beef in the past, right?
Yeah.
And I took that picture of Josh, and Josh tells me to send a message to this Woodland Park High School confession page because he's scrolling it, reading off all this crazy shit. He's like, say don't come to school tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay, that'd be fucking funny. So send that shit with some squirt gun emojis behind it.
Yeah.
And why I'm acting so casual and thinking that'd be harmless, I don't fucking know. Because really, it was a big deal. Like, that's a stupid fucking thing to do. You don't do that. Like, especially when the message...
This was in the time frame of the Parkland shooting.
Like, Parkland shooting, or like... Because another school shooting either happened after or before.
But it was a year with a lot of school shootings.
Exactly.
And it was a big topic in politics.
It was a huge debate. So, I sent that in, and she says, is this serious? I'm going to have to call the cops. I said, no, this ain't serious. I'm joking, blah, 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 blah. I just don't appreciate what your page is about. Like, you doing all this shit. I don't know. Like, because she was literally throwing shade on people, too. Like, there was bullying shit. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, or it was saying shit like, Hannah's so pretty. And this goes out to the whole school.
Yeah.
Dude, like
everyone's following this in school.
And she was bullying kids. She was fucking, like, it was not great. So... I said something about that. I'm like, you're literally, like, bullying and all kinds of shit. She's like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And I told her it wasn't a threat. And the cops ended up showing up and arresting me. And the dude who arrested me had a friend who died in the Columbine shooting. So he has no fucking questions. I was, like, trying to explain the situation. Cool. Cuffs me up, hands me to his partner. They take me to the car. Yeah. He's, like, talking to my grandma. I wanted to fucking hit him so bad the way he was talking to my grandma. Fucking piece of shit was like screaming at her. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, dude. My friends were downstairs. Everybody's all smoking fucking weed, dude. Because grandma's sick at the time. She has to get up out of bed, right, to tell me that the cops are outside. She's like, Jake, the cops are outside. I'm like, oh, fuck. You know, I go upstairs. And then this dude's like screaming at me, right? Okay. Ends up just arresting me real quick, putting me in cuffs. And I'm hearing the way he's fucking talking to my grandma. And he's just... That's not the way you talk to an old lady, especially that fucking late at night. You know? Like, shit, dude. I was pissed about that. Yeah. But they took me up for questioning there, then took me down for questioning at some mental hospital, right? And then I didn't get out till like 5 in the morning. Grandma had to come down and pick me up. And then, I was under investigation for 2 weeks within Teller County, right?
Yeah.
And this ended up sparking another chain of events. Autumn's younger sister wrote in the bathroom stall, same thing I sent in as a message, so everybody started pinning this shit on me, and I'm like, I didn't do this, so they found out Autumn's little sister did this and thought there was like a little chain, so then they tried to tie me to the Parkland shooting, and just all kinds of stupid interconnect shit, so this whole little investigation led to me being expelled within that 2 weeks, right, because I was under suspension and under investigation.
Yeah.
So I got expelled within that 2 weeks, and then eventually everything resolved itself with like the justice system, right?
Yeah.
Like I got good with that, and because they were trying to get me on terroristic threats, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I'm not a fucking terrorist,
Yeah.
like, dude. But holy fuck, this is crazy to talk about. It's actually wild.
Yeah, with regards to the school, basically all that happened was not even for his threats did we get put on lockdown. It was for the ones in the bathroom. We got pretty much 4 days off of school for it. Like, they're like, don't show up, don't go anywhere.
Oh, it was in the
Like,
news. Everybody in town knew about it. And if they knew that it, like, not everybody knew it was me, but the people close to me knew it was me. If everybody knew it was me, they'd be like, that fucking guy, I didn't even own a gun at the time. The police didn't come in, do an investigation on the house, anything. I have no guns in the house.
Yeah.
Not even on me now. I said no guns at the time, I got no guns now.
Yeah.
My uncle has guns, he moved in. Like, they didn't do any of that shit. They just arrested me, took me off.
Yeah. I mean, it is their job to do that because, like, with the Parkland shooter, they knew before that he had made threats and they didn't stop him. So, I mean, it's kind of like a good thing that they did, but...
But the thing is, the kid, like, they looked into it and the kid had a prior, like, he owned the firearm he used.
Yeah.
You know? Like, nobody in my house had it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, how much of a viable threat am I? I understand, detain me on site, but you know, like...
Yeah, once you do the investigation...
Do an investigation, you know?
Yeah.
Once you set up an investigation, do an investigation.
Yeah.
They didn't. They didn't do shit.
No.
They literally, the reason I got off was because I go in and they're like, fuck, I don't remember. She said, do you want to pardon your case or something? Within like 10 minutes because she didn't have evidence submitted.
Yeah.
Like, there was no evidence actually submitted of the text messages. The only place the text messages were is I screenshotted them on my phone. Because the Instagram page got deleted.
Yeah.
And all kinds of shit got deleted. So there was literally no evidence of my threat. So she's like, do you want to partition or pardon your case or some shit like that? So I literally got off scot-free.
Yeah.
It wasn't because the justice system fucking did an investigation and saw that I wasn't a viable threat or anything like that, you know? It was literally because I got fucking lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
I mean, it's still pretty hard to
Blame
find
it-
someone
blame it
guilty
on them was-
for just messages.
It really is, but at the time of the situation,
Yeah.
if it was that serious of a threat, you would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah.
They would do some fucking research, you know, into the situation. But, yeah, as shitty as it was, Josh ended up getting expelled too. We ended up doing our own thing. Tried selling some drugs, right?
Yeah.
That didn't end up going well. Josh and I had a falling out. We went our separate ways. And I haven't talked to him since. You know,
Yeah.
I've struggled with my drug use, you know, like where it needs to, not even needs to be at, you know, because it doesn't need to exist
Yeah.
at all. But like where I'm most stable at,
Yeah.
you know, because there have been points where it's been like, fuck, dude, I need to get help or my shit together, you know, and it's just not good.
No, yeah, it's definitely a hard road to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just want to say that this kid has had a 4.0, almost a 4.0, all the way up until this explosion. And so he wasn't slacking, he wasn't doing any of this bad shit. He just made one mistake that cost him a lot.
Yeah. No, I was really a popular kid. Like, a lot of kids knew about me and stuff and knew about my music and everything. And I don't think people really knew that it was me who did it, you know?
Yeah.
Because if people knew, like, how much of an influence I had on kids at the moment and stuff, they'd be like, if they, like, kids would have been like, it was Jake, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's just saying something, you know? Like,
Yeah.
because back in the day, I used to speak out of my ass without fucking thinking twice about what I was saying. I was just fucking saying it. Dumb. You know, I've learned my lesson because of that incident.
Yeah.
And without it, like, I don't know where I'd be, but shit, dude. I feel like if people really, like, knew, because it was kind of, I feel like it was kind of hidden.
Yeah.
Like, nobody really knew who it was till I started saying, hey, dude, like, I'm sorry, you know?
I mean, no, because it was posted on this Snapchat story, so everyone kind of knew.
No, they thought it was strictly the little girl for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, at least, are you talking about like the whole town or just in the school?
The majority of the town, I would say.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say everyone in the high school knew about it because it was posted on Josh's story. Even I saw it.
Oh, yeah, everybody knew.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big thing on social media. You're
Yeah.
right. But I feel like there wasn't much understanding.
Yeah.
Like,
No, there wasn't any understanding, and even like talking now, I haven't known like all of it, the full story.
No, dude, I don't play the blame game. I don't pin shit on anybody, dude. Like, it's my own fault. I did what I did. I made my fucking mistake.
No, that's good.
But
That's the best way to learn. Own up to your mistakes.
yeah. But yeah, dude. I wish it could have gone differently. Sometime.
Yeah,
Can it?
obviously.
Fuck no. So, do we move on?
Hell
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
You just learn from it and then just throw it away from the memories.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, thank you guys for watching. This has been pretty good talk, I would say. We hit a lot of topics.
Very intuitive.
We got a little deep there at one point, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, see you next time.
Deuces.